It's a new song I'm learning. You here at last on the ground. Yeah. I have to get off by Monday. I don't usually get my hair done. But Maureen said, you have to treat yourself. Maureen said, there's a great deal on in Susie's style of a Tuesday. And they give out a free gin. Oh, sorry. A free gin. It's not even lunchtime. I won't know where to put myself in the afternoon. Maureen says, you're the other side of life now, Rose. You're going to have to start saying yes to things. Yes. That's new. Something else that's new to me, because Stephen was always a no man. Stephen wouldn't have liked Maureen. Stephen would have said that Maureen was chaotic. Chaos. Stephen would have said that Maureen was a bad influence. And Stephen would be right, because she is a bad influence. A very bad influence. Look at me, sitting here, happy, spending money, and drinking gin. Gin! But Stephen isn't here now, is he? So there's nothing but silence and absence. No, not that our house was ever a rowdy house, our house, ever a noisy house despite the boys, because Stephen didn't like noise. It was silence that drove me out. Silence that made me open our front door for the first time in years on my own. Take a good look out there, good look at life out there, and try to join in again, like a child trying to fit into a game, because that's how it felt, at first, like learning to walk all over again, talk all over again, and fit back in. Stephen actually died of a Tuesday. I never say of a. Maureen says it and I like it, because it reminds me of my ma. Stephen didn't like her either. Stephen said she was chaotic. Slovenly. He actually said that about my ma. Slovenly. My ma had 7 kids, and my dad worked night and day. And the emphasis in those days was on feeding us, not cleaning us. I suppose that's what made him say it. Slovenly. I remember him saying it. Stephen. I didn't like it. Ha ha. But I didn't say anything. I married young. Too young. I was only 19. And Dad tried to put me off. But there was no putting me off. I thought Stephen was the cheese. The bee's knees. I did. So did he. Now, everyone liked Stephen. Don't get me wrong. Even Dad liked Stephen because he could be awfully charming. Awfully funny when he wanted to be. And he knew all sorts of interesting facts about history and about space and about stars. Yeah, Stephen liked knowing things. He liked being interesting, did Stephen. No, Dad just thought I was too young. Too young to be getting married. But I didn't listen. I wouldn't listen. Stephen told me not to listen. Stephen told me we'd get a little house of our own. A nest. A love nest. And that sounded lovely to me. After 7 of us always queuing up for the loo, and 7 of us always fighting over the last roast spud, and 7 of us crammed up on the one sofa trying to watch Top of the Pops with the youngest posted up by the aerial so we wouldn't lose the picture. We loved Top of the Pops. We all did. Ma would leave the dishes behind in the kitchen and she would come out and she'd watch. And Dad would sit down and he would give out a bit of the cut of those that was on it. But he would sing all the songs all the time. Because we loved Top of the Pops. But Stephen didn't understand how I could stick it, living in that squalor. All that noise. And he told me we could make our own nest. I suppose that sounded like heaven to me, and it was heaven. A kind of heaven, mostly, at the start. Even though we were an awful long way from Ma and Dad's, even though there were no buses, even though I had the 2 boys, and Stephen went off to work and I was left alone cleaning in the house mostly. Stephen liked a clean house, a bit of order, a bit of peace. Despite the boys, the poor boys, they just had to row in. Put the soldiers back in the boxes. Put the cars and aeroplanes in the toy cupboard. Put their books back in alphabetical order. And put their compact discs back in their sleeves. He was a stickler for that, Stephen. The compact discs in their sleeves. The boys liked music. I like music. Stephen didn't. Too loud. And we had a piano and all. Stephen said that every good house should have a piano in the front room. But when I suggested that we get lessons for the boys, he wouldn't have it. Waste of money, he said. Hadn't we spent €6 on a flute and neither of them could play a note? No. The piano was for the photographs and for the Waterford crystal bowl. We used to put our receipts into the Waterford crystal bowl, me or the boys, so that Stephen could enter every receipt into the household accounts. He was a stickler for the household accounts, was Stephen. Oh, I wonder what he'd think of me now. If he could see me now, I tell you he'd die. If he hadn't died already. Tell you, I'm glad he isn't here. I'm glad he isn't here. I'm glad he can't see me. I wonder what the boys would think of me. Off there in Tokyo and London. So far away. So very far away. And how can you say that you're lonely and say for you that the sun don't shine? Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll tell you something that'll make you change your mind. That's my song for the boys. I think of them every time we sing that song. And I wonder what they're doing now, and I hope that they're happy. When we sing that song in the choir. I'm in a choir. Mad, isn't it? I mean, who'd have thought it? Me in a choir. And that's how I met Maureen, in the choir. That's how I met Darius. And that's how come I'm here, getting me hair done of a Tuesday. Because I didn't know how to, After the funeral, because Stephen died sudden. Terrible sudden. One day, he was on his way to work on the M50 and he just flop over the steering wheel of his car from a heart attack apparently. And that was it. He was gone. Stephen was gone. Felled. And all my family came to the funeral and the boys came home. And I was amazing, the noise in the house that morning, one morning, and I made rashers, and the boys both have girlfriends, and they came and they brought food, and there was a lot of conversation in the house, which is amazing, because I suppose, we kind of lost touch, Stephen and I, over the years, and it was on that morning that I kind of realised that it had all gone on without me. But life had gone on without me, and that they, my family, still all saw each other and played cards and had dinners and even went on holidays. But it was just for that one morning that they came, and then they went back to their ward, and I was left alone at home. So I cleaned. I cleaned that kitchen. I tell you, I had it spotless. I gave the whole house a good clean. And then, well, I just didn't know what to do really. So I sat there. I sat there in my kitchen. In my very clean kitchen. Because I just didn't know what to do. And then the phone rang, me sister, and I hadn't heard from her for years. I don't know why really. I suppose whenever she rang I didn't talk. I didn't have the time to talk because Stephen would be there and he didn't like me on the phone. Anyway, she said, "How are you, Rose?" And I said, "I'm not too good, Anne." And she said, "Oh." And then she said, after a bit of a silence, she said, "Why don't you join something, Rose? Like a book club or a choir, maybe, to fill the days." And that was the start of it, because I opened up my door for the first time. I put on my coat and I went off looking for a book club or a choir, maybe. And I started off at the church because I thought that was a sensible place to start. But the woman there pointed me in the direction of the theatre. The theatre? Sure, I'd never been in a theatre before. Theatre was only for posh people, but no, she said they were setting up a choir at the theatre. So off I went, and sure enough, there was loads of people there. And they weren't all posh people. And there was loads of conversations and scarves and good shoes and lights and noise. And I was just about to turn around and run out the door when I bumped into Maureen. And she said, "I'm here for the choir." And I said, "So am I." And she said, "I don't know what it is, a clown choir, do you?" "A clown choir?" I said. "I don't know what a clown choir is, but I'm sure it's not for me." And then she said, "I like laughing. And I like singing. So why don't you and me sit together and we'll both be grand? Do you know what? We were both grand. And the gas thing is, we didn't even sing. There was this one, the leader. And she had us run around playing chasing. I am not joking. Chasing. So, I didn't want to draw any attention to myself. I started running. And then Maureen said, "Here, hurry up, bros, or we'll get caught." Here, I have a great idea. Why don't we pretend to play kiss chasing? And that made everyone laugh. And the leader said, "Oh, why don't you tell us a story about kiss chasing or when you were small?" And then everyone started telling stories, and it was amazing to hear all these beautiful words coming out of their mouths. And then it was my turn. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any stories." And then Maureen says, "I bet you do." And the leader said, "Come back to you. No pressure." And they went on. Well, that was the start of it. And I have to say, I enjoyed it. I really did. Isn't it mad? Mad that the world has that to offer, and I didn't know. Oh, the world has such a lot to offer. I've learned that since Stephen. And people have a lot to offer if they just open up their front door. And Darius was there that day too. And Darius told us a story about when he was small, living in Romania with his granny, and she used to kill and pluck a chicken for the dinner. And he felt sorry for the chickens. So didn't he sneak down one morning and set them all free? And his dad nearly killed him. His dad and his granddad nearly killed him, but his granny never said nothing. He's terrible nice, is Darius. Kind. And he's just brilliant at being a clown. I don't know what it is, his eyes maybe. He has these brown chocolate eyes, Darius. Sometimes when I look at them I feel a little bit sad. He has these lines around his eyes, Darius, that are like roads that run and run till they run out of skin and disappear into his soul. Soulful. That's how I would describe Darius. And when he sings, he's soulful too. Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. Though there are clouds in the sky, you get by. The funny thing is that Darius and I have become quite friendly. It's mad. I've never knew anyone from Romania. I've never known anyone who wasn't from Dublin mostly, or Meath, before I joined the clown choir. And Darius has had it hard. Darius's dad was political. And he was arrested back in Romania and he was put in prison. So Darius grew up with his granny. But life was hard because the government made it hard if your dad was in the prison. And the neighbours made it hard because they were afraid of being sent to prison. And there was always this element of danger of being watched and controlled. And it nearly drove Darius mad. Because he said he always had to be very careful about what he said and who he said it to and where he went and what he did. He said he was never free. Free. I think I understand what he means. And Darius lives in Maureen's house in the box room. And he says he can feel all the stories in the walls or in the cupboard at the end of his bed, because Maureen has loads of people staying or living in that box room. Friends, family, whoever needs a bed. There's love in that house, says Darius. And Darius can make me talk, get me to talk like no one else can. We read books. Well, I read books and then I give them to him and then he reads them. And then we talk about the people in them and how they feel. And all the scrapes they get into. And then what we thought might happen and what did. And we go for walks. Along the canals. Or down by the lanes near my house where I live in Clonee. I've never been down those lanes before. I've never seen how beautiful those trees are lashing out against each other, against the sky, or bending over towards each other like lovers. Darius said that the other day. Like lovers. Quite the romantic, isn't he? Says Maureen. And I go all red because I don't know where all these feelings are coming from. I've never been one for feelings. Not for years, not even with the boys. My boys. Oh, and I'm sorry about that. Darius has 3 boys. And they live in England. They're grown up. He goes and visits them and they go to football matches together, and I think that's lovely because I've never visited mine. Why not? Says Darius. Because it's very expensive. And I don't like travelling. Says who? Says Stephen. Stephen's dead. And he is. He's dead. And I find that just so hard to fathom. Because it was us, just us, for so many years. Even the boys were like ghosts because Stephen ate up all the air, all the feeling, all the love. But that's then. This is now. So maybe I will go and visit the boys someday soon. Maybe, my boys. Maybe I can. I have to say, it was a surprise when he visited me in my house, Darius. I remember it was a Sunday afternoon. And he brought a cake. A Victoria sponge. But I kept him out there on the doorstep. I did. I didn't let him in. We had a chat. A great chat all the same. We came back the next Sunday. And the next. And eventually he made it into the front room. And he saw the buses. All the little buses in a line along the wall. And he asked about them. Darius. And I told him, even though I'd never told anyone before, not even Stephen, though I'm sure he knew. Because I bought one every year on the same date, from the same shop, for my son's birthday. My third son's birthday. My third son that died. Died inside. And Darius asked me where he was buried. And I told him he was buried in the Angel's Plot. And Darius said we should go and visit him, but I said no. And he said, why not? And I couldn't think of an answer. So I put on my coat and we walked out the door and we went to visit Davy. That's what I call him. Davy. In my head. only in my head. For years. And I love it when Darius calls. I love the company. Because Marion comes the odd time too. And we're talking about having a choir practice in my house, and I'm really looking forward to that. Bit of noise, bit of rowdiness, a few compact discs out of their sleeves. And we're going to the pictures, Darius and I. Mad, isn't it? Who'd have thought it? We're going for a bit of dinner after. That sounds like a date, says Marion. A date? You don't be daft at my age. 55 years young, she says. I don't usually get my hair done. But you know what? When you're the other side of life, I think it might just be time to start saying yes to things.